Welcome to the Spare Parts Racing Podcast, your podcast for all things motorsports. With your hosts, Sean Chavarella, Stephen Clary, and Taylor Moore.
Hear that music?
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Spare Parts. I'm your host, Sean.
Ready to get weird, I'm Steven.
You just threw me off so much, but I'm Taylor.
You know what? I'm sure the NASCAR fans were also really thrown off when Brendan Hunt said, Texas, let's get weird as the Grand Marshal on Sunday. So I know I wasn't expecting it.
Oh.
So.
That was a thing?
Oh, yeah. You didn't see that?
No, I didn't.
Coach Beard from Ted Lasso just saying, let's get weird before saying, let's, gentlemen, start your engines.
Okay.
That is such an on-brand thing for like the guy that plays Coach Beard to say, and I love that.
Okay. So all of a sudden, I was like, what the fuck is Steven saying? Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So, jumping right into it, I guess, Texas is what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah. And thoughts?
Okay. One of the best NASCAR races until the last 10 laps.
With like every caution ever.
Which 10 laps, Sean? You're going to
Yes.
have to be specific.
Yeah.
There was like 40 last 10 laps.
Actually, it wasn't even that bad because
Well-
it took like three laps every single caution, basically. Like, they cleaned up quickly in most of them, but it just takes forever for them to get around the damn track. But for NASCAR,
It was really funny
Was it-
because I wasn't paying attention
Did you
until
watch this race?
No, so I wasn't. I was actually
Shocker.
like in the middle of something. I was baking cookies. Okay, I was having a little bit of a day. NASCAR was not on my priority list, but I did tune in as soon as you messaged saying, "Fuck you, Byron," and I was like, "Ooh,
that
this is juicy."
Yeah, because Byron pissed me off again because I bet on.
And you need to stop sending that.
Every time I send it, he screws up. So I'm gonna keep doing it, especially when he's fighting the guy that I bet on. So I bet on Reddick, obviously.
Of course, you
Just
did.
made sense. But okay, going into this race, NASCAR's first race with no stage cautions, allowing the full race to run its course. The racing was great, and you had a split strategy of Reddick being on 3-stop, the leader's on the 2-stop. What's gonna happen?
Ooh.
Multiple green-white checkers happened, but besides that, it was a very entertaining race.
Yeah, I
Which-
can't disagree.
But that's good, right? Like, it's obviously, it kind of means that they're doing something right when it came to like taking away the stage cautions for at least the road courses.
Well, here's the thing also, though. Like, I don't know if you saw Jeff Gluck's poll. Like, we're all in agreement. Good race. 25% people were not. They did not like it.
Well, clearly those 25% of people were wrong.
Like,
Well,
I don't know what you wanted out of that race.
I think what turned off a lot of people was how long it took to get to the end of this. Because we had restart after restart of guys just sending it into one, half the field getting bumped way out wide, and then another 3 or 4 guys from that group getting spun, having to throw a caution, doing it all again, and then just the definition of insanity over and over again, expecting a different result. And then we finally did get a different result at the end.
No,
They kept-
Reddick still won.
kept the noses going. No, but like when they finally got it right and didn't spin each other out.
Fair enough. Now,
Wow.
for
Or
NASCAR...
if there was a spin.
Yeah, but they just... At the end of it, they said, fuck it.
Yeah, well, this needs to end.
Yeah.
Guys, we're hitting the end of our time slot here. Let's go.
Yeah, they definitely said screw us by the end of it. They could have thrown a caution there. There was a caution for less each time, but they're like, nah.
Yeah.
Let's get this over with.
It's over.
Yeah.
However, for the actual, like, for NASCAR's first race without the stage cautions, I think, fan-wise, big success. I think a lot of fans really did enjoy it. It shows you don't need to have these stage breaks. Let the race and strategy play out. Honestly, that's kind of a more fun part of it than just having guys do the same thing the entire time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was.
That's part of
it
like
was good.
it's part of the entertainment though, right? Like there's that luck aspect and like the luck of is your strategy going to play out? And with stages, that's just it doesn't get to happen.
Yeah.
Really. And when you get like the cookie cutter product, like people just want to turn away. I'm surprised that these 25% people who like weren't happy with it, but I think that that's fantastic. I'm glad y'all both enjoyed it a lot more than the reg. It makes me hopeful.
So this is what I think NASCAR should do also. Because, yeah, if this is what we're going to do road courses going forward, fantastic. You know, no stage cautions, keep it going. But there's one thing you need, and that is to fix this ending of constant overtime, because guys just keep sending it. So the solution is, and I don't know, maybe they can try this out maybe afterwards on other tracks if this catches on. But on road courses, when there's a caution, you can just race back to the line, and the first car to cross the line then is the winner. Or if you really want, if you can't do that because of safety, just make it the number of laps that it's supposed to end on. If there happens to be a caution, there just happens to be a caution. You know, maybe do something like that, and you know, maybe NASCAR, if they see that working out, can just kind of slowly revert itself back into the early 90s NASCAR everyone loved. Just an idea.
Well, and that would be nice. I'm going to be happy with what we have so far and hope that... Because here's the thing, too. This all stemmed from a late caution. Otherwise, Tyler Reddick is running away with this at the regular distance, right? Like, he was the fastest car all weekend and deserved the win the entire time.
Yep.
It was the late caution. Who was it? Why am I not remembering who it was now? With 12 laps to go, still in the original. Anyways, whatever it was, that was because that may not happen every race, right? Like you're not going to necessarily get someone wrecking and bunching the field back up, and then it was the whole cautions breed cautions shtick. You know, we've been over that a million times already. But it was it'll be interesting to see if they keep it the same the rest of the year. I want to see how it goes at Chicago, at Sonoma, at what am I missing? Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. Indianapolis, I think, will be the really telling one because it's very similar in the sense of you have a hard turn as your first turn with very limited runoff. Yeah. Much like COTA. So, are we going to get the same thing where there's a late caution that causes it, and then we get 30 overtimes trying to get this right without guys spinning out? Because, I mean, if you're going to just like stick a possible win in front of the top 15 guys, because that's essentially what it could be. Like, if you survive, you realistically have a chance to win. So, like, who was it? Chris Bell went from the back of the pack to possibly going to win into overtime and then got spun out and got dropped back to mid-pack. Then he got spun out again and dropped back to the back of the pack. So it can all change very quickly, and you can go from midfield to in the top 10 to in the running for a win. Right? Like, so I'm curious to see how the rest of the road courses go this year because, again, Indianapolis will be an interesting one. Chicago on the street course, that could be a hectic time where I think that would push us more to you need to do the regular race distance with how easily that track could get blocked up by a spin, right?
I also feel something like Sonoma is going to be the benchmark for older fans like myself that grew up with the classic NASCAR, I should call it, to kind of see how it compares. Because Sonoma used to be one of the only road courses, and it had some fantastic races back in the day. So that one will be also good to look at.
Yep. No, again, the overall race product is good. We didn't have any complaints about the package. The only complaint was these overtime rules, which you can apply sort of across the board, right? Like super speedways, short tracks, mile longs, mile and a halves. Like, it doesn't matter which ones. The overtime could be a problem no matter what. And we've already talked about this for over a year now of just race the race distance. So
Yeah.
our thoughts are pretty well known if you go back through it.
Yeah, completely. Like, race the race distance, keep it what it is. And I think more people will be a fan of that. Because especially at the end here with all the cautions that happened at the end of COTA, what changed? Same guy won.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, that's probably the most impressive part of Tyler Reddick's weekend was having to survive, 4 overtimes?
Yep.
4 restarts where, guys were constantly hounding him. And, he lost the lead for a moment one time, but got it back. Like, that aspect of of his drive in the weekend was probably the best. Because he could have been taken down at any point there, or cut a tire, or something could have gone poorly. It was interesting to note, though, all the road course ringers hated the overtime shit and commented about how aggressive a lot of the other drivers were, just forcing them off, bumping them, not being afraid to make contact. Like Bunton said something, Kimmy and Taylor, that they all said, kind of surprised how aggressive everyone was. So
That's NASCAR.
That is now. Didn't used to be, but it is what
No.
it is now.
But yeah, that's
True.
how they're gonna race. And again, when you put the win on the line when it's winning in, and you get guys like who was in the top 10 here that maybe didn't have a chance at winning but had a good chance for some points. It's like Ricky Stenhouse. I know he's already won, but he's not like a road course guy, and he was in the top 10. Chris Buescher, Todd Gilliland, Corey LaJoy, all up there.
Yeah.
Like, the people are gonna get aggressive to try and get points.
Yeah,
Especially
Well,
after
you
you
have
see
to.
how after you see how last year went, get as many points. You don't know when you're gonna magically win at a Daytona or whatever super speedway, or get a caution in your favor, or have your strategy just magically work out for a road course like this. Like, this was almost a fuel mileage race
again
at the end.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well,
like
twice.
Reddick,
because
like,
coming to the actual end, they had to pit for fuel.
Yeah.
And then with all the damn cautions, they had to pit for fuel.
Yep. But so, like, at the end, the Trackhouse guys were in great shape on their strategy right away, because if this had gone green the entire way, it's probably Suarez or Chastain coming out with a win.
Yeah, Suarez got
Just because the other guys were
fucked over.
Yeah. Oh, did you see? He was pissed at the end of the race.
Yeah.
He was getting into it with Chastain, so that'll be something interesting with teammates button heads. He got into it with Bowman a little bit.
I thought it was Bowman he was going after.
Oh wow.
He got it after it with both of them. I was listening to the teardown with Gluck and Bianchi.
Yep.
And they said that he was getting into it with both of them. And Bowman, actually, this is what I meant to check. I didn't check this before, because they were saying that he bumped. Suarez had bumped Bowman really close to the pit lane, and there was a possible penalty coming in because it was really close.
As of now, we don't. Yeah, because he chased Bowman into the pit lane, and he moved Chastain out of the way to hit Bowman. So that's why, like, I don't think he actually was like mad at Chastain at all. But yeah, he was.
No,
mad
apparently
at
they
Bowman.
were talking afterwards.
Okay.
So,
But yeah, I
penalty won't come out until tomorrow.
okay. So as of now, but there should be no penalty. Okay. What do you think it'll be?
Probably like a small fine and maybe some points. Like
Probably,
not the 100 points we saw from all the Hendrick guys, but 25 points.
I saw people saying he should get a race ban.
Yeah,
You've seen this from other guys hitting guys in the pit lane, guys spinning guys out in the pit lane after a race. That's not a race ban, so
yeah,
it's
so
dangerous shit, but
I think it's a fine and a docking of maybe some points. Like,
It's
not a
fine.
huge amount, 20 points, just to send a message. something like that. I don't know. I don't think it'll be a race ban either, but something. They'll probably do something.
Yeah, he's a guy who
Just
really got
so that-
screwed out from almost winning the race to being 27th. Ugh.
Yep.
Rough one.
Yep. That's a rough one to watch.
But that's how she goes. Sometimes, you know.
Yep.
And that's what you get with the overtimes.
Sometimes you get unlucky.
And yeah, at the end of the day, I think COTA was a very good race, and I enjoyed it.
Yep. So NASCAR can get on with getting rid of the stage cautions for everything, and we'll be good. Again,
We'll all be happy.
I have trouble seeing them getting rid of the overtimes, but I think today or this race really proved that you don't need the stage cautions.
Yeah.
Because again, so here's the other thing that got brought up. What was the point of the stage cautions?
Bring everyone back together.
Other than that, more commercial side of it.
Oh, to give commercial breaks.
And what did the Daytona 500 prove? It doesn't matter. We're gonna run full screen commercials throughout the race, whenever. So,
Yeah, true.
Just do it.
True. Yeah.
I mean, every other series manages to fit in their commercial breaks while still having race coverage. I think NASCAR could find a way.
Yeah.
Like,
honestly.
it's just,
And
yeah.
But the beauty of it is during the stage like cautions back in the like with regular races, how much do they, I would say, emphasize what's happening on pit road? A lot, and you make it like a okay full commercial caution. Okay, here we're gonna watch them on pit road and make their pit stops. Okay, back to a full commercial caution. With the lack of stage breaks and with pit stops happening, it was actually a time where you could like focus on the thing, focus on like the in and out laps, but in the times in between where it's kind of where I would say strategy is playing out, that's when you have your cautions.
Yeah.
And that's how it always used to be, right? In
Yep,
those down, like I would say those downtrodden parts of a stint where it's kind of boring, that's when you should have your caution.
Your commercial.
Fuck, yes, that's the one. Whatever.
Well, I
But yeah,
mean,
It's a long day. But yes,
that's okay.
you know what I mean.
I was going to say it's Monday, but it's actually Tuesday.
Is it? Oh, great.
Well,
I feel like it's Tuesday. Monday? I don't know.
it's a day. But no, I totally agree. I mean, there's ways that you can do it where you don't have to have this kind of like BS on almost like manufactured time to like bend over and appease the people who fund you. So
Well, again, they didn't even they throw commercials on whenever anyway. So what's the point?
so why does it matter?
Why are we doing this?
Hopefully NASCAR will learn from this.
Do some picture-in-picture of anything that happened during the pit stops while the strategy's playing out, sort of like Sean said, and then hopefully you can time out the action. I mean, if someone randomly spins and rings out a caution, you can't do much about that. You can't plan for that.
Yeah, that's just the race, right? That's the nature of the beast.
But to what Taylor said, if it's easy to make the people who, pay for your sport happy, I don't know if they're going to be happy because there is a slight issue in viewership possibly this year.
Oh?
Every single race is down, right?
Yeah.
So
Daytona is down 7.7%. Auto Club is down 5%. Las Vegas 12.2%. Phoenix 15%. Atlanta 14%. COTA 16%. In the last four, that is enough to see a trend.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so here's the question though. Like, is this but why, right? Like you have to ask why. Is this people turning away from NASCAR because NASCAR has kind of been a cookie cutter for the last, like, who knows how many years?
That might be it, actually.
And they've manufactured entertainment and people kind of finally got tired of it?
Possibly. Like, I think it's down because, in my opinion, there's more competition for NASCAR with F1 and stuff. Granted,
Yeah.
F1 didn't race this day. There's no competition between the two. But in fans' minds, there is now well, this is actually a real racing series.
Mhm.
So, and this is a lot more
There's
popularity now. I
Yeah.
might pay more attention to that than actually give a shit about what's happening in NASCAR.
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely, I think, a conversation that could be had around the impact that Drive to Survive and the growing American fan base has made on series like NASCAR, which have been predominantly an American fan base because it's an American series, right? So I think it's a really good point, right? Like, you have these, you kind of have a behind the scenes look at something, you get intrigued with it, they're making a point to grow it in America. Why bother sticking around for something that's been the same thing week in and week out?
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on those numbers, see if there's
Yeah.
more of a trend there. Because
Mhm.
if everything does continue to go down, or at least trend downwards, like right now, down double-digit percentage, that's not looking good. And I think,
Mhm.
Going forward, NASCAR might need to make some changes. I don't know if it's the product in terms of the stages, getting rid of those, or how it sells itself, but there might need to be some tough discussions going forward in the back rooms of NASCAR.
Mhm.
It's like you said,
Yeah.
keep the people that pay you happy. You know who was happy this week, though?
Who's that?
I want to shout this out. Zane Smith.
Why was Zane Smith happy, Sean?
Well, he won
Okay.
the truck race at COTA. Taylor, I don't know if you saw this. Literally burned it down on the straightaway doing burnouts. He lit his truck on fire. It was honestly one of the best moments of the weekend.
I love that so much. Like, what energy?
Like, me and Steve were both like, that's awesome. When you were watching it?
Honestly, what a vibe.
Honestly, yeah. So,
Hey,
things are
celebrate the way you want to. Whatever.
things are bigger in Texas, bigger celebrations, more fire. I feel like it's perfect. But alas. Anyway, so is that all we have for NASCAR?
I think so. I mean, we got Richmond this week. Sort of to be honest.
It's a fun track to race in iRacing. That's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah, actual NASCAR product. Yeah.
Byron.
It's okay, Taylor. I already bet
yeah.
on him.
Great.
Not gonna win.
Lovely. Well, if you bet on him, or if you bet on Reddick and he won last week.
Yeah, despite every racing god was trying to make sure Reddick did not win that race, okay?
Yeah, fair enough.
So, couple other news things that have come out over the weekend. What's his name? Head of the F1.
What's his name?
Head of Formula One. What's it? Domenicali.
Domenicali.
Yes.
Domenicali.
Domenicali. Domenicali. I don't know. Anyway, some Italian fucker who's the head of F1. He was talking about possibly getting rid of practice sessions in F1.
Literally, eye roll.
I want to know what you guys think about this.
This is a stupid idea. Like, what? How are they supposed to try out their strategies on race weekend? Make them up? Hope for the best?
So I think Domenicali's argument was that the practices are more for the engineers, really, to figure everything out. So by not having the practices, qualifying and races would be more in the hands of the drivers.
That is literally no, sir, no. Like, yes, practices are for the engineers. They are for the team to figure out how they're what strategy they think they want to go with. Trying out tire compounds, trying to figure it out before qualifying happens. It's for the drivers to have a little bit of a taste of the track as well. Get used to things. Comment on things. It's... Huh? So confused.
So just to be clear, he's talking about getting rid of FP1 and FP2. So basically the Friday sessions. You still get FP3.
Only having...
basically FP3 qualifying, possibly what's it called, the sprint.
I hate
and
everything
then
about
a warm up and
I hate that so much because no, I hate that so much. It shortens the weekend. What's the point?
You know who I think will push back the most against that? The tracks.
Yeah.
Why am I selling a Friday ticket
Yeah.
for however much it is?
They wouldn't
If they're not
anymore,
even on the
though.
track.
But that's the thing. They probably wouldn't because they would have nothing else to do.
Oh, they would still.
But what are they
sell
going
it.
to... No,
I
but
don't
what are
know.
they going to sell?
Other series?
Right?
Supporter series that run Friday?
Who wants to show up for that, though? Like, unless you really know what the supporter series are. Like, a lot of people there... Like, let's be real, though. The average person who goes to a Grand Prix isn't, like... Not all of them are going to be there because they're massive fans of the sport. In general. And not just F1. Like, a lot of people will go just to see F1. Who is going to actually go to a track, spend 8 hours there to not see an F1 car?
Yep.
it's sort of like all-star events for ball and stick sports. It's not so much for the fans at home, it's for the local fan.
Yeah. But, like,
Right.
if you're... Like, let's look at Toronto for us, right? Going to the Toronto Indy there. If there was no practice sessions there, would you still go the other days?
No.
Oh, I would.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's like,
maybe you would,
half,
but, like...
half the joy of being at a racetrack on race weekend is just hearing cars go around and watching cars go around. Yes, not always is it a race, or sometimes it's a practice or qualifying session. The sound, the smell, everything of a race weekend is fantastic.
I completely agree. I completely agree. But that's us, right? But we have to also consider that there's a large amount of people who aren't like us, who love just the sound, that love the smell. Like, they're there to just see F1.
Yeah. Then go.
Right?
Then, I don't know, get a general admission ticket and sit there and don't go in the grandstand. I don't know.
Right, but
It-
so the tracks,
But
they'll still
even
lose
if they're
money,
there
though.
just for F1, you should still want to have those practice sessions.
Agreed.
Like, I don't see any way that this is actually popular with anyone. Teams won't
I don't
like
see
it
why... No, they'll hate it.
because teams want more data. The fans at the track
they
want to
need-
see more cars on track. That's half the fun.
Mm.
I mean, maybe you'll see more action, but I doubt that because the good teams will have put in the simulator work, have the setup. It's almost like the teams that are usually fastest in FP1 and FP2 are usually fast in the week anyway. So what's it going to change?
Mhm.
Yep.
Like, I don't
But-
see an actual reason for this.
I'm struggling to kind of wrap my head around what his reasoning behind that would be. Like, why get rid of them? Like, what's the problem with them? That's what I'm
think
missing.
It's
Yeah.
entirely to make more chaos. That's
Yeah,
the theory.
If you look through the rest of the article, his whole thing is to get some points to some different teams or you can get some mix up in the grid. So we're all obviously against the free practice, getting rid of free practice idea. So one of the other things he said was awarding points for practice sessions.
What?
Sean's face says no.
That is
So stupid. Why? Okay,
Single
hold
shot-
on.
Okay, hang on. Single shot qualifying or basically doing a sprint race at every race instead of FP3.
No. I will riot. Absolutely not. Okay. I have a lot of thoughts on this. One, that
Stop
is so
fucking
beyond
with it.
believable.
Like,
Just
really.
stop. Like, don't turn this into NASCAR, please. Like,
But I lo-
stop.
I love how he's already arguing against you guys because he also said, we're putting a lot on the table. A lot of people will say no. But we have seen
Yes.
on some occasions the beauty of mixed grids delivering more overtaking. And, like, yeah, you're not wrong. But
But all of these ideas are dumb.
Simple thing. You win a race, you start at the back next grid. That's it.
Sure. Okay, fine.
I would
That's
take that.
actually, I would take that. That's fine. But giving points
Are you-
because of practice, like, you're trying to award people who, like, magically like their strategy or whatever they're trying out like works and they get like P3. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Like, you're just handing points away to teams that like are slow.
But
That's like giving McLaren, who's trash, like a point just for showing up.
But they still have to hope the other teams don't go in anyway. You're not preventing the top teams from not practicing. They can still go and get more points. And guess what?
I
If
know,
points
like-
are on the line, points is money.
They're gonna
gonna get them.
Yep.
It's like,
Isn't
what,
that,
that's
like-
the stupidest thing to be like.
It's the
We want to give
stupidest
small
idea.
teams more chances to get points. They still gotta beat the
But-
big teams.
So are you just gonna hold practice sessions just for the small teams to give them participation points? Like, is that what this is gonna turn into? Thank you for showing up on the grid this weekend. Here is your point. Just so you don't feel bad about your development not, like, you know what I mean?
Just have, okay, solution. Have more cars.
Mm.
Mostly because that will fuck with people if you had extra 4 cars in the grid. And go from there.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but the whole sprint, like, let's have a sprint race every single race, I would stop watching. I hate that format to begin with. Like, the fact that it's, what, 6 races this year?
Sprint races are just stage races.
Drives me
with
bonkers.
It's just, no, it's stage races with extra steps. That's all it is.
So stupid. I hate it so much. It's such a, ugh.
The only thing that would be absolutely hilarious is they implement this and then we get Max Verstappen has won the world championship by topping the timing stand in pre-practice 1 on Friday.
Yeah, that you cannot award points for practice.
So
At least do qualifying first, and then do practice. Imagine just awarding for practice, not even doing qualifying.
Yeah.
What is the point? Like, what would the point be? I want to know, like, honestly, who sat at a round table and said, you know what's a good idea? Awarding points for free practice.
If you really wanted to make practice worth something and to reward and give slower teams a chance, the solution is you get an hour practice session. You get, if you're the 10th team in the grid, you get the full hour. If you are the 9th team, you get 10% less. You get 90% of that. So that's what? 52 minutes? No. 54 minutes.
Do math, man.
54
Don't try
minutes
to
of
do
practice. If you are the, 5th team, you get that half hour. So if you're the top team, you get 6 minutes of practice. You get only 10%. That is how you actually do it.
I can see a lot of pushback on that. I feel like you'd have to have at least minimum 10 minutes or something. You wouldn't be able to do the staging like they do for
The wind tunnel testing?
what's it called? But I like the thought. I think you'd need at least like time to do a couple laps.
But that's,
You can do a couple
but that's
laps.
only
Two.
for FP1, say.
Oh, only for okay.
Say you
Sure.
only make
Yeah,
it
go for
FP1, so you essentially lose a practice session if you're a top team.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Sure.
still get-
I mean, that's a better idea than anything that he said in that article.
Wow,
Still
it's
get
almost
2
like I'm
hours
fucking
for-
smarter than half the people that run these things. Anyway, that's just my ego talking.
Yes.
At F1, please contact Spare Parts Racing. We will give you better ideas.
I know better than you, F1. I know.
Well, that's going into TikTok.
Literally, I am so
I will
mad
tweet at F1.
Oh my god.
at F1.
And
no,
then I
no,
can already
add
tell-
to,
I can
add to
tell-
Minicali is all you gotta tweet at. Is just that idea and me doing that, and just tweet that at him, and be like, I know
I'm sure,
more.
I'm sure he has a TikTok. I'm 100% sure he's got a TikTok.
Has a
Dimit.
burner TikTok.
Are you? No
Yeah.
way. There is no way that man has a TikTok.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. I don't think anyone past the age of 40 has a TikTok.
I don't know. Apparently, all the U.S. Congress members have a TikTok, and they all get dancing kids. Apparently,
I'm not,
Oh,
touch-
the
I'm
same
not
US
touching that. I'm not
congressman
touching
who,
that technical.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving
That's
away
been
from that.
interesting.
So another F1 thing is we've had another team throw their ring in the hat for potentially being the newest F1 team.
Hold on. Back up.
What?
Pardon?
What?
Say that again.
You're ringing a
Say,
hat?
say that.
Throw your hat in a ring?
We're throwing. There you go.
Okay. Did I say ring in a hat?
Yes.
Oh my god, I am off it today.
Such confidence.
Jesus.
too.
Okay, yeah. So they're
like-
throwing their hat in the ring to be
Yep.
the 11th F1 team. So,
If it's not Andretti, I don't want it.
no, it is, what is it? Craig Bullock, who was BAR team principal back in the day, is
Okay,
looking
right.
to, what is this called? It's going to be named Formula Equal, and this team is going to be 50% men, 50% women. Okay.
Love the premise.
Sounds promising, yeah.
Love that.
Until you read, where is it? Backed by Saudis. So, good in premise, but, backed by the Saudi Arabians. So, another great example of sport washing.
Yep.
So, thoughts?
Yeah. See, well, it sounded like it's a great thing until you just see what's actually happening. But what I found the most suspicious about this is that when asked about whether or not it was going to be backed by the Saudis, the answer was very
Maybe.
well, maybe they're going to be backed by the Saudis, but it's maybe not. But somewhere in the Middle East, who's to know? Well, you do. You probably are having these conversations on the phone every day.
And honestly,
You just don't want to be honest about it.
I am all for having a 50-50 team. I think that's a great thing,
It's a great
Fantastic.
idea.
But to get a
But-
team in there for marketing purposes and to make your country look good versus Andretti, who's just let me in at the gates, wanting to just actually
Yeah.
race.
To basically cover up the fact that you have a lot of human rights issues and it's just trying to say, hey, look, we actually do care about women.
Yeah. So if this team gets in there and becomes the 11th F1 team over Andretti,
I'd be pissed.
oh, definitely.
It would be
Especially-
hard to watch.
Especially if they are just welcomed with open arms too. Which honestly, it's F1. I wouldn't be surprised.
I would bet
Well-
on this team right now being the one to get the team.
Yep, and they'll
Because
get it at.
They have the bribe money. I mean, oil money. They have the nice sounding 50-50 kind of thing, the whole Formula Equal. And they have someone who used to be in F1 in Craig Bullock. So, checking a lot of boxes there, the FIA will be like, you know what? I like the sound of this. Versus
Yeah,
Andretti,
this actually-
who basically has proven everything that he's an actual guy who runs a team well.
And also has met every single or jumped through every single hoop that they've added whenever
Yeah.
he meets the previous hoop. I wouldn't be surprised if this team gets in at 200 million and they still say, nah, Mr. Andretti, we're going to need 600 million because the teams aren't happy about the lack of money they'd have to split.
This team could be
This
like,
is such
200
BS.
million? Here's $1 billion. Are we good now? Are we good? Yeah, we're good. So I'm afraid this team is actually going to be the one to make it. Not because I actually don't
Yeah,
think
no,
it'd be very
that's totally-
good and having the Formula Equal thing. If it's Formula Equal, fuck off if you don't put a woman driver in there. Just want to say that
Yep.
Yeah.
because there's your
Well,
excuse
what
right
would-
there.
But what would be the whole point of calling it Formula Equal and saying this is a 50-50 team if one of those drivers is not female?
Yeah.
If they're both male, no. The whole premise of your team is washed. That's not a thing.
Oh, could you imagine the Saudi Arabian team having a female driver and then not allowing that driver to race in Saudi Arabia? Ha.
Ugh.
Honestly, everything about this I hate. I think it's a great premise.
Yeah.
I just wish it wasn't from this.
But you know what sucks though is that it's a great premise, and honestly, it pisses me off that like it almost feels like it's being used, right?
It
Like
is.
this
Almost.
Discord has been
No, that's
well, yes, it is. Okay, yeah. It is being used, and that sucks because the discourse has been there for years to have a female driver in F1, and for this to come in and basically like be the Saudis trying to cover their tracks. What a major piss off.
Yeah. I'm kind of disgusted by this whole topic, and I kind of want to move on.
move on.
Yeah.
Okay. What else we got?
Ugh. Ick.
Well, we have a very full weekend ahead of us.
Very full. IndyCar is back. Yay.
Yeah, kind of forgot about that, to be honest.
IndyCar is back.
After a full month.
Yep.
I know. I'm very
love
excited.
this schedule so much. Stupid as hell.
Yeah, it's a Sunday night race. That should be fun.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But only once in Texas, which I have less complaints about because the Texas two-step has lost its shine over the years with how this track works.
That's fair. The stupid. Apparently, they've made according to I saw this today. Scott Dixon. They made addition like was it? They made what's the word? What do they say here? Updates to the downforce package so that it should be closer, tighter racing.
Okay, sure. I'll hope for the best because
Are they going to be out of the single groove though?
Probably not, because that is the characterization of this track.
Yeah.
So, but we can hope, and if Scott's been shown whatever data that he's been shown to make that sort of comment, I want to believe him. But I will not be shocked when this becomes a single groove race and is kind of boring.
Well, all you gotta do to basically beat it is trim out your car as much as you can in qualifying. Don't worry about, the actual downforce package because you'll be in front, and anyone who has maybe more downforce than you catches up to you, they'll lose in the turns as soon as they get close. So, yeah. I don't have a lot of hope for Texas.
No.
We'll just have to see what happens, I think. It's going to be what it is.
It is. We do have the Australian Grand Prix, though, so that should be a fun one.
That should be a fun one. That track is fun. I like it.
Are we all getting up at 1 a.m? Are we all going to watch it?
Oh, right. No.
Oh, it's going to be such a long day. But yes, probably. And by get up, I mean just stay up.
Yeah, basically. Maybe
1 o'clock isn't too bad.
No, it's not. Maybe have a nap if it rains.
Yeah.
No, it's
No,
not
probably not.
supposed to rain.
Don't put that fucking evil on me. Don't put Japan.
I've already checked the weather. It's
That is
fine.
hilarious. Yeah, I'm gonna be real. I'll be watching the race later that day on Sunday. I will
Coward.
not be watching it live.
I will spoil the
Coward.
race for you.
No. I just want to pay attention to you.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm very good at that.
I'm excited to see Australia. I love this track.
Yep.
Yeah, it's always been
We
a
have-
fun one on this.
It's going to be interesting now that we have 4 DRS zones. How far can Max Verstappen get ahead this time?
I don't think he gets ahead.
No?
Oh, okay. What's your
my-
prediction?
My
Okay,
prediction for
yes.
this race is that the Red Bulls are going to take each other out.
Ooh.
Just say, I wanted to bring this up. Your race prediction in response to
The Autosport fucking.
Autosport.
Who's your top 3?
Who's your top 3? And who do you have at the top, Sean?
Lance Stroll.
Of course you do.
So hear me out. Hear me
Oh
out.
boy. Okay, hold on.
Okay, so we've already seen in the first 2 races with Red Bulls that they both think they have a chance this year. So if they're both nice, when you just break your mic. Good
It's
job,
fine.
Taylor.
It's all good.
Okay.
I didn't break
So,
anything.
Continue
Both-
before this
both-
gets unhinged.
Both Red Bulls are going to be going for it. I think
Yep.
Perez wants to show, no, I can also be in this title fight. Max wants to get back down there. So if they're both lined up on the front row and they both go into first corner, they know whoever's coming out of that corner will be essentially ahead of the race, and the other guy will be told to back off. They may just have contact. And Australia Turn 1 has been known to see some incidents over the years. So if they take each other out, that'd be great.
Yep. There are a few incident points where this could be a thing.
Or we've also seen, since the first two races, there's little gremlins in that Red Bull car that haven't actually come to light yet. So maybe
Not yet.
one of them gets punted and one has a failure just based on final luck of the draw there. So I'm just saying.
Okay.
And then
You know what?
my
Your
other prediction
logic
was
is actually
also
quite sound.
exactly. And then my other prediction was Alonso would also just have his car retire, leaving Stroll the fastest of the rest. It's
I
not a
actually have
bad
very different
theory.
prediction. It's not a bad theory. You're right.
But it's a
I have a
Sean theory,
different
so
one.
therefore it's a Sean theory, so it won't work.
Also, I bet on Stroll, so
Of course you did.
Well, I can't wait for all four to missing, and then Ferrari backs into a win somehow.
I would take that, to be honest.
Okay, so that was my prediction. My prediction is that we see a Ferrari 1-2.
Okay, that sounds crazier than Sean's idea.
Mine has
And
logic
his
behind
idea-
it.
His idea revolves around Lance Stroll winning a race and beating out Verstappen, Perez, Alonso.
Okay. Just. Okay, look. I've got some sound logic. So the Red Bulls take each other out.
Okay.
Okay. And then Alonso, I don't know, struggles. Add some spice.
Yeah, see, it's
Um,
already...
Lance is great, but he loses it in just one of the corners and ends up down the field a little bit and can't make it back. And then there's Charles.
You could just say
And Charles-
Stroll's out in turn 1. That could also be a possibility.
It could be.
Or Q1, I should say.
Q1, yes. And my boy Charles is there to just take the win. And Carlos is not far behind. This has been story time with Taylor for a race that actually isn't going to pan out the way that she thinks it will.
Definitely not. So I at least bet on Stroll because it was a plus 125,000 to
Yep.
win.
Oh, good odds.
So if you don't take that on the second fastest car and the second driver in that team, you're out of your goddamn mind.
Yep. Yeah, I took those odds too.
Yeah,
Of course you did.
You make that deal, Udovich? I
I
make
make
that
that
deal.
deal.
Damn right. Damn good deal.
So
Of course the bookie takes the deal.
Steven wants Stroll to win.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, obviously. That'd be great. And, well, along with getting money, it would finally shut up a bunch of people that think Lance Stroll has negative talent and is just here because he has money. He's not Mazepin.
That's fair. But yeah,
He can actually drive the damn car. He's won a championship before.
yes. So,
Just low.
Anywho.
It's bet 365.
and
Jesus Christ.
anyone have predictions for Texas?
Oh, we're going back to
Yeah,
Texas?
yes.
Might as well.
Marcus
Okay.
Ericsson.
I hate you.
Shocker. Well, before you do, here are some stats that I got from, or that IndyCar put out, because there are a lot of multi-time winners here. Scott Dixon has won 5 times, including twice in the last 3 years.
That's a safe bet.
Elio Castroneves has won 4 times. Joseph Newgarden has won twice. Will Power has won twice. And Ed Carpenter has won once. Graham Rahal has won once. And Pato O'Ward has won once. Those are your winners in the field.
Hear me out. First time winner at this race, Scott McLaughlin.
Scott McLaughlin.
Thanks, Steven. Glad we're
I
on
mean,
the same page.
He came close, what was it, a couple of years ago? Right?
Yeah.
And he lost out to Newgarden. I
Yeah.
think it was last year's race. He lost out to Newgarden,
Yes.
right? So he's got a good chance to win here, I think. I wouldn't be surprised.
Penske's are always good here. They're fast. So, yeah, Scott McLaughlin it is.
Taylor, prediction? Yes, no?
She said Marcus Ericsson.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I said Erickson.
No, I
And
meant
Grosjean
something
P2.
realistic. Okay. Straight back to delusion.
She's a Ferrari fan.
How is
Let
it
her have delusion.
delusional?
You're a
Can
Ferrari
I
fan.
can I please go back to the first IndyCar race of the season? Who won? Right.
Eh, something
Okay,
blind squirrel.
So
nuts.
both of y'all, get off my back.
I would say like Steven, yeah, Blind Squirrel finds not here in this situation, but she also she's been riding the Byron train too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And
but, okay, but
you know what? Yes, I have.
Broken clock is right twice a day.
there you go.
Taylor's right twice a season.
We're like not even a quarter of way into every season, so let's not jump to conclusions.
We're 1 month in, and Taylor is already
We
got
still
her
have
2 fours.
5 or 6 months to
Celebrating
go.
my win.
You won't get another, okay? You're not gonna get another.
Okay, say that now, but whatever. I
I
can
will.
still. Why can't y'all just let me have some hope?
No.
You take away my hope every single time.
Yes.
It's really
point.
mean of you.
Well,
Just let me have one thing. One thing.
we'll put that to advisement.
Mm-hmm.
We'll reconvene and get back to you in 2 months.
Yep. We'll talk to HR.
Yep.
Hey,
Wait.
HR, Steven, do you want to give her hope? Or...
I'm HR. I thought you were HR.
Oh, wow. Okay, I guess no one gets hope.
Okay, well.
I don't think that was in the budget this year.
No, definitely not.
Way too expensive.
Anyway, is that it? Are we all done?
I think that's it.
Okay, well,
We are done.
Thank you for listening to this week. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. We'll be back next week. What? That bad?
Jesus Christ.
I know. Listen, today has been a bad day for me,
Yeah.
okay? Okay, anyway, yes, thank you for listening to this week's episode. We'll be back next week. Remember to follow us on Spare Parts at Spare Parts Racing for Twitter and TikTok. Stevenson posts some good TikToks there. And until next week, goodbye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Spare Parts Racing podcast. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and follow the show on Twitter at Spare Parts Racing. That's Spare Parts RACIN, and on TikTok at Spare Parts Pod. Follow the hosts at Sean Chavarella, at Stephen Clary, and at Tay Moore.